What we've done now is this year has probably been the most collaboration that we have had with general ed and special ed teachers. And even our guidance team, we meet every other week, and that has really even grown. Right, we have special ed and regular ed teachers, general ed teachers on that, as far as the administrators and counselors. So the conversations are really opening up. We're really emphasizing what data you've done in the classroom, and so the data, the conversation is really data driven. And so now we have the general ed teachers looking a lot more at data, taking data, finding different ways of what data we want and in which direction we want to take that data. So that's helped. I think that conversation's really enhanced. And the general ed is now looking at this student struggling, but now why is he struggling? Versus before it was he was struggling, send him to special ed. So they're looking at a whole lot more avenues. It's really helped them broaden their perspective. And they all see it in the eyes of intervention. There's a lot that they can do intervention-wise in the classroom that in the past they haven't done. It's kind of giving them the freedom to do interventions in the classroom instead of standing out.
General education teachers have really grown to love the whole RTI system, if you will, in our building. And they value several things. I think first and foremost, they value seeing that student being able to perform at a higher level in their regular education classroom once they've had some intervention services, because it's all about that student achievement. And watching a student who is really lost in that classroom and who probably never said a word before because they really didn't have any idea what was going on, how to read the passage, how to solve the math problem, are now actively engaged, raising their hands, participating at a whole different level. So that's, I think, the thing that's certainly valued most. I think in addition, really having general education teachers be able to look at some of the things that the interventionist does and really be able to broaden their ability to provide Tier 1 differentiation and instruction, because we really want it to start at the Tier 1 level. So borrowing some of the practices, the use of more manipulatives, the use of flexible grouping, looking at the data of an individual student and really tracking that data and understanding their individual strengths and weaknesses, which is paramount for the interventionist, has now become very important as well for the general education teacher. And I just think that the greatest value is really feeling that we're a team, that all is invested in this child, and that we're all in it together. And it's, you know, teaching has become so hard, and we're all accountable, and to know I'm not there standing alone, but I have a team and I have a partner, and together we're all responsible for the good of this child.
They know in their heart that it's best for kids. You know, they don't always like, in my case, having to give up planning time to help a small group of students with reading or math issues, but they know that that's what's best for kids, and it's hard to argue that that they're not doing some good, and it's very worth their time to be able to spend that time doing that. And then the individual connections that they make with kids, you know, they're able to really get to know them, and that's so important in their achievement. You know, when they know somebody cares about them and they can go to them. It's almost a mini advisory time too, you know, an academic advisory, you might call it, but the kids feel that connection, and I think the adults do too.
And my general ed teachers have learned a lot from working with the special education teachers about small group instruction, which oftentimes you see at elementary schools. Once they get to middle school, you don't see a lot of that. But it's very common in our classrooms to see the general education teacher providing small group instruction, or to be working with peer coaches who are doing an intervention in the classroom.